Cannabis Common Sense, the show that tells the truth about marijuana and the politics behind its prohibition.
Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Cannabis Common Sense, show 501 and counting. Tonight we're excited to have Mr. Jack Hare here along with Madeline Martinez and Russ Balville. And they and I will be taking your phone calls a little bit later. Jack, the original emperor of hemp. We also have Mr. Tim Pate bringing us some musical accompaniment. Hey, Tim.
Good evening, everybody.
There's this nifty video out there about Jack called The Emperor of Hemp, and we've shown clips of it many times in the past. We'll have another little clip in a moment. But before we get to that, let's bring on our infamous dancing cannabis leaves.
I feel the force.
All right, and so now we have Mr. Tim Pate. How are you tonight, Tim?
Oh, I'm recovering.
You opened both stages?
I opened the main
days?
stage both days, and we closed the Hemposium stage on Saturday, and Russ was with me, and Kenny was with me.
You guys were rocking.
Oh, thank you.
That first day, there were some technical glitches, but the second day, you guys shook the joint.
Oh, I appreciate hearing that. Thank you.
That was good.
Well, the stage was shaking underneath us, that's for sure. It was.
Yeah, it was good. They had the sound going right then. That first
Well,
day
you know, that was
quite
our job on Saturday morning as well, to get everything going. That's why they let me open and have all these years. I'm used to that, knowing that something is bound to go wrong.
Glitches.
You got to, you're the warm up. You're warming up not only the audience but everybody there and all the microphones and equipment as well. And so, at the very first act, I'm expecting something like that to go every year. You never know exactly how it's going to flow. So I'm always grateful that they give me so much time on stage. It never matters. Mm-hmm. So, as far as I'm concerned, they're some of the best people in the world. And obviously, we had a huge crowd last week. And for those of you who were not there, I suspect we had nearly 500,000 people there for the weekend. Yeah, it was huge. Yeah. It was just huge.
That first day, I think there was more people than the second day. I think
there were.
It was an incredible amount. You couldn't move. It took me 20 minutes to go 20 feet.
Yes.
And very claustrophobic, almost scary. You're thinking, don't fall down, don't drop anything.
Exactly. Yeah, and I had to get all my equipment through the height of that crowd from one stage to another, and by that time we'd canceled all the gators going through because they just were getting in the way of the crowd more than anything else. So it was a fun time. I know all my band members just had a blast, and we had a lot of fun playing, and I got to give away the grand prize as well, and
right.
That was really fun. Ron Jeremy joined me on stage. I was hoping for Christopher Walken, but he didn't make it. But Ron Jeremy did, and so we had fun with that, and gave it away to a man named John Smith. So if you're watching, John, congratulations. I'm sure there's a lot of them out there.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've got a little tune for you. We'll run this, and you know how we do this. If my words did glow like the gold sunshine, and my thoughts were played on the harp unstrung, would you hear my voice come through the music? Would you hold it near as it were your own? It's a hand-me-down. The thoughts are broken, perhaps they're better left unsung. I don't know. to blow, reach out your hand. If your cup be empty, if your cup be full, may it be again. Let it be known there is a fountain that wasn't made by the hands of man. There is a road, no simple highway between the dark and the dark of day. But if you go, no one may follow. That path is for your steps alone. Rippling still waters, where there is no pebble tossed, nor wind to blow. You choose to lead, must follow. And if you fall, you fall alone. But if you stand, then who's to guide you? If I knew the way, I would take you home. Da-da-da-da. If I knew the way, I would take you home.
All right. Great
Thank you.
rendition.
Thank you. Oh, great
of the
that
Grateful
song.
Dead song Ripple there. We have a little clip we're going to play from the Emperor of Hemp. So hang on, and we'll be right back. You see this. Or a moment of it, at least. As soon as they can start that DVD player. I think. Right. Oh, no. No, they're not going to play it. Well, that's okay. We'll play maybe some of this later, or maybe not. But anyway, welcome to the show, Jack Harrer and Madeline Martinez and Russ Belleville.
Hello, everyone.
Well,
How are you doing out there in TV land?
how are you doing, Madeline?
I'm doing really well. I'm excited and still in tie-dye mode from the Hempfest. Had a great time. Listen to you speak on that big stage. You did
You too.
great.
You did really well too.
Oh,
It was
you know, we
inspirational.
just-
And
Russ,
Jack, of course, I was
Jack,
honored to
everybody.
go on. And Russ, you were off there.
Just about half the stage full.
Yeah, really. The whole stage full. We were
Good
just
part of
talking.
the you know, the main
5
thing.
minutes. You only got 5 minutes.
That's right. I think I only used like 2.5 of mine. I didn't go my full 5 minutes. I noticed later. But that's okay.
I think I took one of your minutes.
Maybe you got
Yeah,
that.
I think Vivian looked at me and I think I might have took one of your minutes too.
Okay. They didn't run me out. I got
it
out
was
before
great.
I was pulled off, you know. But that's okay.
And Jack, you're always great on stage. What can I say? You're one of the reasons that you're one of the people that inspired me to be a cannabis activist. You know.
Well, you
Really?
inspired so many people
So
with your
many.
book, which, you know, is, you know, you had a book first
No.
on rating cannabis, right?
Yes.
And that was like a
And
judging
2 years
cannabis
before
1 to
High
10?
Times,
2 years before High Times, like 1970 or so, or
73.
73. Okay, and then when I first met you, there was I'd seen an article in the Yippie newspaper Overthrow called the CMI White Paper. And that was kind of about 3 pages long and laid out kind of the gist of what was the outline of your future book, The Emperor Wears
And
No
it
Clothes.
was, what's his name? The guy from New York.
Dana Beale.
Yes. He took them for himself. He said, oh, that's some wonderful information. I should have it. And
Put it in overthrow? Is that how that got published there?
And I got really bad.
You got mad at Dana for that? Well,
I don't blame you, Jack. You deserved it.
few people did. I know that then in '85 you wrote the first edition of your book right here in Portland, in River City. And it was, for a while, it was the CMI, OMI white paper, the California Marijuana Initiative, the Oregon Marijuana Initiative. And the first few editions were like newsprint editions.
No.
They were handed out,
No.
right?
The first edition and the second edition were 110-page book.
Uh-huh.
And the third and fourth edition, I've got 90,000 copies for the
campaign for the Oregon Marijuana Initiative in '86.
And that was a newspaper.
Yeah, yeah. I remember every neighborhood they handed those out in. I think OMI won it.
Yes.
That was one of the...
It only won 15 cities in the thing. And
what do they call it? Precincts. Yeah,
Yes.
15 precincts.
And
those were the ones.
And those were it's handed out twice. And 3 times and 4 times it got handed out because the guys, 90,000 people, and about 30,000 of them got once, twice, 3 times, and 4 times. We won those by 60 or 70%.
Right. So, how many copies have been sold now, and how many languages is your book, The Emperor Wears No Clothes, printed in? I know it was the number 1 seller in Germany,
about
too.
100 magazines, and it's in about 750,000 copies in the United States, and about 500 or 600,000 copies overseas.
A lot of them in Germany.
And then there is about 10 or 15 companies, Japan, Korea, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, Poland, Russia.
So it's in all these different languages.
Yes,
like
but
15
they
different
don't
languages.
pay me.
Well, I guess your copyright's only as good as your ability to enforce it, I think. We have a caller, though. Hello, caller. You're on our show.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, I was curious on when the laws would change in Oregon so someone with bipolar could get medical marijuana.
That's a good question. You know, there is a process where you can go to the state health department and ask that conditions be included. And I know there have been 2 recent hearings to include several different conditions. Have you been to either one of those?
I have not been able to go to either one of those, but Linda Mason did go to represent Oregon Normal and to listen to what was going on. And as far as I know, it doesn't look really good, but we're asking people to submit testimony as to how it affects your bipolar or PTSD. There's a lot of people like myself that actually started using it for anxiety and depression, so we would like to include that, and we're going to continue to pursue it until they allow it in or until we tax and regulate, which we hope to do next.
Because I was under the impression that in California you can, but I'm
Yeah,
not.
you're
That's correct.
That's right. In California, that's the only state where bipolar is covered.
Yes.
As any condition a doctor thinks it's useful for is covered there.
Exactly. I wish that would have been written into the original OMA, but unfortunately, it wasn't. But we are going to continue to pursue it. Attorney Lee Berger, Portland attorney, and R.N. Ed Glick.
I've been pushing to add those conditions.
And and you can go to the Oregon Normal website and find out when the next hearing is.
Okay, so online I could figure out.
Yeah, go to DHS and they'll have public meetings. Scroll down and hit public meetings, and they will have some information for you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, great.
Thank you.
Bye.
Now I am told that now we can play a little clip of the DVD, The Emperor of Hemp. So, check this out.
It's a crisp spring morning in Manhattan. A perfect day for a march down Broadway. But on this day, for this crowd, the Big Apple isn't exactly rolling out the red carpet. There are delays and confusion about where to gather. Mayor Rudy Giuliani waits until the very last minute to issue the necessary permit. But several thousand show up anyway, and eventually this ragtag army begins the long trek to Battery Park. The marchers have all come together this day for various reasons, but with one common voice: to protest the United States policies on marijuana. The marchers are cordially escorted by a phalanx of New York's finest. Or so it seems. Business as usual in America's war on drugs.
They're not going to get rid of us that easy.
For the last 30 years, a hardcore band of activists has been fighting the war on marijuana in what they see as a struggle for truth and justice. One man among them stands apart. He has been described as a cult folk hero, a boisterous rabble-rouser, a crazy man. His name is often mispronounced. He likes to say it rhymes with terror. But one thing is certain. Because of him, we enter the next millennium with a new knowledge of an ancient plant. A plant whose present-day revival was sparked by this man's 1985 best-selling book. The book revealed the lost history of the hemp plant, and in doing so, lit a fire under a legion of followers the world over. Its title is The Emperor Wears No Clothes. Its author is known as the father of today's burgeoning hemp movement. His name is Jack Herer. At 60 years of age, Jack Herer has been stumping for hemp nearly half his life.
Okay, Jack.
The Emperor of Hemp.
That was a great film. That was produced through the aegis of The Body Shop. The lady, what's her name? Anita Roderick?
Yeah.
Anita Roderick? She just passed away recently. That's a shame. So when did this first come out? Was it?
In 2000.
In 2000. Time flies. You've had a stroke since then, but you've come back a long way since then.
About 1 month after
after this came out, you were here in Oregon with that stroke.
And I can't talk or walk for
you couldn't
2
talk
or
at all
3
for a couple years.
Yeah. And now I'm getting my voice back, but I always had my attitude back.
Right. You were there, you just couldn't say it that well.
You never lost the attitude.
Sure. Once you know that hemp is the only thing that will save the fucking world, well, I'm sorry.
That's why we have that disclaimer on the front of the show, for things like that.
But okay. Well,
it's the plant that will save the planet.
50% to 80% of all food in the whole world was hemp until about 1850 to 1900. 50
it was the
to
main
80%.
illuminant, or fuel for plants.
Out of 3 million plants, the number 1 to 100 in all the energy and vitamins and minerals is hemp. Until you get to 101 soybeans.
Yeah. Only soybeans aren't as digestible.
No.
Hemp protein actually meets human nutrition requirements.
No. It's 1,000% digestible by the whole human body.
Yeah. And it tastes good, too. You know what? We're going to fix the mic, and we have a phone call. Hello, caller. You are on our show.
Hello.
Hey, welcome.
I want to thank you, Paul, for the program. Thank you, Madeline. Thank you, Russ. And Mr. Hare, I want to thank you profusely for all that you have done. I want to thank you for the video. I've been watching it. It makes the cycle here on Portland Community Media, a couple, 3 times a year. It'll cycle through and play for a few weeks, and each and every time I alert the people at work, I alert anybody I know, you got to watch the program. It'll open your eyes. You'll learn a lot. And each and every time, Jack, I watch the program, I learn a little bit more, things that I didn't quite catch the time before. And I can't thank you enough. I cannot thank you enough.
Have you read the book?
No, I have not read the book.
It keeps getting bigger and bigger and better as time goes by and it gets re-edited.
And
what is this, like the 15th edition?
16th.
16th edition.
And I also want to thank Portland Community Media for having this program. I want to thank your crew, Paul, and I'll step aside and let some more callers in. Thanks again, Jack.
Go on down to the Third Eye on Hawthorne, and you can buy the book.
Okay. Thanks again.
And his family runs the store. Just in case you guys didn't know. I remember when you were first opening it, way back when.
1977.
Yeah, that was Heads and Highs, wasn't it? 77?
Well, no, it was me and Captain Ed.
Yeah.
We're partners, and we're still partners.
Yeah. Families are working together.
You know,
well, good.
Jack, one of the things that I wanted to thank you for while we're up here and get this opportunity is the work you did in unearthing the Hemp for Victory movie that the U.S. government put out. Because if there's just one way that we can turn to the government and know they're lying, it's right there in the film. So thank you so much for that. Appreciate it.
We got to get that on the news, Hemp for Victory, on the local news here, so we're pretty excited about that when we did Hemp Stock.
We play clips on it all the time.
Yeah,
every now and then. We have different clips we can run. Hey, if you're out there and you have a question tonight for Jack or Madeline, Russ, or myself, or even Tim Pate over there, give us a call at 503-288-4448. That's 503-288-4448. We'll be taking your calls for about another 35 minutes or so.
I want to remind everybody, Paul, that tomorrow's the Oregon Normal Cardholders Meeting, OMMP. And it is at Village Ballroom, 700 Northeast Deacom. And the doors open at 11 a.m. If you've got your state ID or driver's license and your OMMP card, you can come out there and pick up some cuttings and a little excess medicine and meet a bunch of other cardholders and just enjoy our company. We have a social time, a meeting time, and we'll update you
on a lot of fun.
What's going on. Yeah,
there's the address right up there at 700 Northeast Deacom.
Yeah.
That's right off of MLK, about 3 blocks. I know our gardeners at THCF Medical Gardens have, 75 or so foot-tall cuttings ready to go that will get a patient's garden going quite quickly. I know there's a lot of other people that bring cuttings, too. Yeah, there's a lot of other
people bringing cuttings. So come on out and pick up those cuttings tomorrow and get them home and get them ready for the Oregon Medical Cannabis Awards. We're going to be having that December the 12th. I'm pretty excited about it. Danny Danko, cultivation editor for High Times, will be having a grow seminar. So we're really excited to teach people how to grow according to the Oregon normal law, to stay within the guidelines. He's a great guy. I just got to meet him at Hempfest.
We have another caller. Hello, caller. You're on the show. Hello, caller. Listen.
Hello there. Hey, I'm a new Portland resident to this area, and I've been on a morphine pump since 1986, and I got a new doctor out here, and this dude don't want to prescribe me my morphine because if I have any levels of THC in my system. Huh. And I've got a THC card from y'all up there already, so.
Well, I recommend you go to OHSU. Their pain clinic there won't make you go without medical marijuana to treat your chronic pain condition. Now, we're hopeful that by taking cannabis, you'll be able to dramatically reduce the amount of morphine that you need to take. But, you know, for real severe conditions, you still might need that, especially for breakthrough pain. And it takes a while to wean yourself off that stuff, I know.
Yeah, I've been on it since '86.
Oh, yeah, it'll take you a while.
Yeah,
so
I'm on almost
going
800
cold turkey is
milligrams.
probably not an option. I would go to the OHSU folks up at Oregon Health Science University.
I'm trying to see if my girlfriend's recognized any of what you're saying, because I've just... Hey, Jack, I just want to, thank you for what you've done. You've done a lot in your lifetime, dude.
I'm still here.
You just talked to 250,000 people just on Saturday, right?
Yeah.
That was pretty neat.
And
Oh, that's great. Huh?
He's still going strong.
Been through a lot, too. I see that, man.
Yeah.
well,
I was a full quad for 2
we're
years,
going
man.
to do an initiative in California in about 3 months. We'll start the initiative.
And that's Richard Lee's legalized thing? No, it's another one.
No, this is mine.
It's your own. Oh, okay.
No, I have nothing to do with Mr.
Richard Lee.
Lee.
Okay.
I wouldn't sign.
You wouldn't sign that one? Okay.
1 ounce. Whoa.
What, there's a 1 ounce limit in that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
I need more than that.
Hey, I had one of the first of the 50 cards they issued in California.
And he got $50 tax on
an ounce? Oh, that's outrageous.
Anyway, we were doing an initiative in California, 100,000% legalization of every type of pot there is. You can grow it from 1% to 100% THC. It'll be okay.
I want to see that plant. The 100% THC plant. One big crystal there.
Well, I'll tell you, I think about half, about 25% of a gram every day, and I eat it.
Yeah.
But it huge doses of THC, and it's more than 100. It's almost 16 ounces of the prime bud dried. To 2 ounces of oil or teal.
You're talking about the Rich Simpson cancer healing
100
medicine oil.
and at 99%, and at least I thought it was 60% at the beginning, but it's 99%, and only on the 4 stages. The first stage, second stage, third stage, we didn't go because those are 100% curable.
So you're
the
talking about
fourth
cancer stage.
Yes, well, the first stage is cancer, the second stage is cancer, the third stage is cancer.
And so this oil kills the cancer.
Fourth stage, you're going home to die because there's nothing else you can do there. And all those people, 1,500 of them, got
This
THC,
oil, high cannabinoid
huge
doses.
And they all 100% closed, saved, and they're never coming back again. For 7 years, not one person has got it back.
That's like a miracle, isn't it?
No, they have 2 days to 2 weeks to 2 months to live. And they all live 7 years now, and there's no trace of cancer anymore, and it's against the law in the United States for 37 years, and we got it in 1973, 74, and 75 in the Commonwealth of Virginia at Richmond. Get it?
They showed that it was useful to kill cancer back then.
100%.
Right.
Skin cancer, melanoma cancer, brain cancer,
lung cancer, prostate cancer.
Yeah.
All these different cancers.
And 100%.
Right.
And it's what's great, too, we've been reporting on this at Normal. We just had 3 stories in a row that came up on this where people were researchers, of course, overseas.
I'm going to tell you, Normal, for the last 7 years, had said, oh, this guy doesn't have the pants of a dry sign. No. And I thought, everybody is wrong about this because I know it. 37 years ago, I wrote the fucking book on it.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is we're starting to find all of these.
I was there. I remember.
We're finding all this research that's coming out now that's just kind of nibbling around the edges here. We had a report on, they did a long-term cohort study of chronic marijuana smokers who've been smoking for 10 to 20 years and found that they had less incidence of head and neck cancer than people who don't smoke at all.
Yeah.
They find that the THC directly injected into prostate cancer cells in vivo or in vitro kills the prostate cancer cells. And we found and reported on how people that smoke marijuana, when they take a look at their lung function, their lungs are no worse off than people that don't smoke at all.
And so marijuana prohibition is truly evil. It's an evil, evil thing to deny people a cure from cancer, to deny our planet. I mean, it's earth medicine. That's what John Trudell was telling us a year ago here, that will solve a lot of our problems environmentally, a lot of our physical problems, a lot of our economic problems.
Okay. Cancer.
We're believers. You can tell that. We're going to run a little film clip here from the Seattle Hempfest. We'll be back in just a second, so enjoy.
All right, later, y'all.
Here it comes.
I'm standing here at Hempfest in Seattle with Keith Stropp, the founder of Normal. And thank you for that. And what do you think of this event?
It's my favorite event of the year. I travel around and do a number of these kinds of things, but there's nothing on the scale of the Seattle Hempfest other than the Seattle Hempfest. So for those who haven't seen it, it is incredibly empowering. And I think 12, 13 years now I've been coming in. I find it fascinating, and I think people in other parts of the country are beginning to pick up on that same phenomena. And the Boston Freedom Fest is coming up in the month, and that's a wonderful thing on the Boston Common with all the history associated with that. And in the Portland Hemp Sock. And that's about the middle of next month as well. I was there last year.
So 12th and 13th of September.
12th and 13th of September. If you're in the region at all and you identify with marijuana smokers or have marijuana smoking, for Christ's sake, come to this thing. You will find lots of people that are like-minded individuals like you. And as I say, you'll feel empowered by it.
Peace, love, and understanding that we're doing here. Peace, love, and understanding.
Save your seeds. It doesn't take a miracle to cultivate the weeds.
You can't sell brownies. You can't sell pot. You can't sell Rice Krispies at Hempfest. Why? Because we know how to keep this thing going. And that will bring us down. We have an unprecedented amount of freedom here. No other city in the world, no other rally in America especially. I don't think any in the world is doing quite what we're doing. So please understand, we do not want to be the narcs, man.
We arrested our 20 millionth American on marijuana charges. Are you ready for 420? In the midsummer, the state of California determined that it would be missing $1.4 billion in taxes if we didn't legalize it in California. Probably 10 times that many nationally. We've helped almost 100,000 people in 8 states, get a medical marijuana permit. So that means they can legally possess, use, and grow medical marijuana. Medical marijuana is a great step forward, but it's not the end. What we need to do is end adult marijuana prohibition, restore industrial hemp, and help medical marijuana patients.
The man who started it all, Jack Harris.
Hemp will be the future of all mankind, or there won't be a future.
Doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican, we're going to legalize marijuana no matter what happens in 10 years, because when 60% of the American public wants something, they're going to get it. Contact your legislators. Tell them end marijuana prohibition. It's time to tax and regulate it. The more letters they get like that, the sooner the day will arrive. We're going to legalize marijuana!
Baseball. Look at this. It doesn't have any. What if this was a drink fest? Alcohol fest, meth fest, heroin fest, cocaine fest. There'd be dead people here. There'd be fights. There'd be stabbings. But it's pot fest. It's hemp fest. We are proud. We are loud. Give me names.
E-M-P. What do we want?
I freaking love Hempfest. Hempfest is the shit. Hempfest is badass. Go Hempfest!
September 12th and 13th, Portland, Kelly Point Park. Yay, please come. Everybody's welcome.
Okay,
Very
well,
nice.
thanks,
Very
Raymond.
nice.
Good job, Ray. That was a nice little clip there. Done pretty
Wasn't
well.
that beautiful? You did such a
Was.
great job.
You did too. We're going to have some more clips with your
I know.
speeches in there next week. We're going to get a whole tape show next week. It's going to be so I can hang out with my family on the East Coast. We'll have a tape show next week, and we'll have got the whole thing. Clips from the Seattle Hemp Fest.
Excellent. Good. That's going to be great because so many people here don't get to go attend.
That's
you know,
right.
and I tell people once you go, you're hooked for life.
There were one or two shots that give you an idea of the breadth of the crowd, but at one point there, it was just more crowded than I've ever seen it.
Right.
I think there were 350,000 people in the park that one day.
I know, on
and
the
about
Saturday.
half that number the next day.
Yeah, on the Saturday when they had that pinch point, people were trying to get out, and there was literally at least 8,000 to 10,000 people in this one constricted area, shoulder to shoulder, and you could not move. You could not get through the crowd at all. And yet...
And I heard it was that way all over.
Yeah.
It wasn't just...
Yeah, it wasn't just there, but where I was, and I was
I heard
trying
at
to
the
get back with Tim.
McWilliams stage and the Sealy stage, and
Yeah.
about 4 to 5 o'clock, you couldn't move.
Yeah, I had to go from the Sealy stage all the way on the north side of the park, all the way to the Hemposium stage on the south side, carrying my bass, and I'm stuck in that crowd. And the thing that really struck me is that even though that there was 10,000 of us in this crowd, shoulder to shoulder, and it's hot, nobody was out of line. Nobody was pushing or shoving. Nobody was cursing or getting angry. Everybody was really cool, and that's the vibe that I love about Hempfest. Is that, you know, it's like Vivian was saying, if this was Alcohol Fest, there'd have been a fist fight.
Yeah, exactly.
We're also passive. You know, we just want to smoke our medicine and enjoy life.
So, Jack, you've been to many of these things. Was that the biggest one yet?
Yeah, it was the biggest one yet.
I think, you know, it was the same weekend as 40 years ago Woodstock, and I think we were at least as big and maybe bigger than the Woodstock Nation there. We have our Hemp Nation now. And,
I want to say, I don't understand why all those people can park.
Well, they teach them, don't park, you know, ride the bus, get your rides. And so a lot of folks come down, and I parked behind our booth one day, but that was another story.
Yeah, another time.
Yeah, right.
That was fun. I think everybody had a great time. Everyone I spoke to that went to Hempfest just loves it and wants to go back every year.
Yeah.
It's the family reunion for all of us.
It is. It's a meeting of the marijuana movement.
This weekend again?
Yeah, there's the Olympia Hempfest, which takes place right down on the waterfront in downtown Olympia, Saturday and Sunday. Jack will be a speaker. I know there's other people that will be there, so if you're
it's a wonderful
come down to the Olympia Hit Fest this Saturday and Sunday, the 2nd and 23rd.
It's right down
on the waterfront by the lake, right?
No, well, it's a little bitty lake.
Yeah, right. It's not that small. It's right below the state capitol.
Yeah, it's about 2 blocks east north of downtown.
Right. And then you're going to be back for our Portland Hemp Stock Festival on the 12th and the 13th. And make the hemp, and you can buy the book there. Or you can buy it at the Olympia Hemp Festival.
Jack's booth is close to ours.
Uh-oh. You got to tell him to quit calling you.
He's so popular.
Told him. We have a caller. Hello, caller. You're on the show.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, it's good to see you all, and I wanted to say happy belated 500 show.
Thank you.
It feels like trying to get through in a radio show. Anyway,
I've heard
I feel
that.
privileged that I'm on the phone.
Kind of hard.
But hi, I'm sure you guys recognize me. It's Kayleen, and
hey, Kayleen.
I've been out of the loop for a while. I've been in Otis taking care of my granddad who passed away here. And
my condolences.
But anyway, but I've been watching the show because they don't have Channel 11 down there. It's like, so I've been missing you guys. But I had a question about Octa.
Go right ahead.
That I'm really curious about, and I want some clarification on about like so if Octa gets approved, and then like we wouldn't apply for licenses anymore like we do now to grow medical marijuana.
Well, you know, what we did is because a lot of people were afraid that they would lose the Oregon medical marijuana program if somehow Octa was overturned and all the other medical laws were. So we put a clause in the new versions that the Oregon medical marijuana program remains in effect. However, under the new law, anyone would be able to grow personal use cannabis without a license. And that's explicitly in our new Oregon cannabis bill. And so the Octa petition. And so it would allow anyone to grow cannabis. It would allow stores that didn't sell alcohol to sell cannabis. And if you want to sell cannabis, you'd have to get a license. But if you don't want to sell it, if you're just growing for yourself, we don't set any limit on what that amount should be or how many plants that is or what kind of plants it is. And we also say that the seeds and starts of all strains of marijuana will not be regulated. They'll be treated like industrial hemp. And we have a version that would set up industrial hemp on a pretty regulated manner and allow biodiesel commission in one version. We've actually filed 2 different versions of the petition right now. And we're going forward to get a ballot title on each of them. Then we're going to take the ballot title and poll that to see which one's most likely to win. Then we're going to move forward with the one that's most likely to win. So one of them has a lot of provisions about industrial hemp, set up a hemp biodiesel commission, a hemp Fiber and Food Commission, 2 separate commissions. But the other one doesn't really touch the industrial hemp thing very much. It just would allow the current bill to remain in place. So when we have the ballot title on each of those, then we'll poll, and whichever one stands the best chance of winning, we'll move forward with. But both of them would allow people to grow their own without a license, and you'd only have to get a license if you wanted to sell it.
Oh, okay.
Or
okay. Well, and then how does that work? Does it
the
gonna
Oregon
be like
Medical
a
Marijuana
dispensary
Act
thing where, you know, like they do in California? Because I don't know. I personally think like the prices people pay for the medicine in the dispensaries in California is a little expensive, but
yeah,
whatever.
It's outrageous.
That's their thing.
No, I think marijuana prices will come way, way down when we legalize it.
Okay, because not everybody's going to be able to do that, you know, and then there are things that come up that where you can't do that, or, you know,
sure,
life happens. But
well, both of these bills would allow patients to get cannabis untaxed, and it would tax the sale of marijuana to adults over the age of 21. So if you have a medical recommendation, you would get cannabis at the same cost that the farmer would sell it at, where if you are an adult without a medical recommendation, then you would pay a tax that would go to support public projects.
Okay, but they have to be designated people, so they're going to be like...
No, it could be with a license. You know, just in this last session, the Oregon legislature became the first in the nation to reschedule marijuana, and they dropped it from a Schedule 1 to a Schedule 2. So now the Board of Pharmacy, within the next year, has to promulgate a method to produce marijuana for sales through pharmacies. So that'll come into play sometime probably by next summer or next fall, just about the time that we should be coming up with our election. And so the Oregon Board of Pharmacy is already in the process of putting medical marijuana, organic marijuana in pharmacies because they've been directed by the state legislature to do that. And so Oregon becomes the first state in the country to reschedule marijuana out of Schedule 1 to Schedule 2 so it can be prescribed.
Well, I always knew Oregon was special, so, you know, hey.
That's why we all
whatever. I'm native. I was born here, and whatever.
Well, I can tell you that Jack wrote the first edition of his book right here in Portland. He was an activist and had a house with 3 little kids, and back then they didn't have computers. You know, we didn't have computers, so it was all cut and paste. So with 3 little kids, he said, Paul, I know you don't have anybody living in your house.
And you live
I don't.
1 block away.
And I was only a couple blocks away. And so he came over to my house and took over for a couple months to produce the very first edition of The Emperor Wears No Clothes. And little did I realize how it was going to become a countercultural and mainstream hit with big DVDs and made Jack an international superstar. You know, I think that a lot of people come up to Jack, and I've seen this happen because there's a strain of marijuana that they named after Jack. And so people think he's a breeder, or that he breeds marijuana. So they come up, man, I love your strain. How did you grow that, man? You know, but they actually named it after it. But
well, I appreciate everything you guys do. I mean, you're wonderful, and without you guys, you know, a lot of people wouldn't get where we're at. And I am a normal member, and I try to stay up with things. And but I appreciate all the clarification with the Octa thing, because I just wasn't sure how that was going to go, because I really haven't had time to like get any explanation on it.
Right. Well, you know, we filed one version too. The previously that was different than the ones we're going forward with now. And we, in polling on that, we found that putting it in state liquor stores was a bad idea. There's a lot of people that feel that they're corrupt, that the Liquor Control Commission's corrupt, and that marijuana and alcohol should be kept separate. And so we decided to withdraw that version and redraw it so that marijuana and alcohol are not sold in the same place.
I think it's great. Now that I really understand it. I mean, I was for it, but I knew that it had changed, and I wasn't really sure what the changes were, and so.
Well, that's one of the main changes.
Okay, well, cool. Well, hopefully I'll see you guys all at the normal meeting. I'll see you.
Great, you can sign it.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. Have a great evening.
You too.
So tomorrow is the Oregon Normal once or twice a month meeting. It's going to be at 700 Northeast Deacon. So if you are a medical marijuana card holder here in the state of Oregon, you are welcome to come down there. You've got to be an Oregon Normal member too, but that's reasonable, and you can get free medicine and free plants.
And you can pick up your Oregon Normal travel mug. Well, I always wanted to be one of those ladies that said
hand model. Yeah.
So yeah, come out and pick one up tomorrow and fly your colors wherever you go.
So Jack, we were talking about the Oregon hemp bill just a few minutes ago, and you were saying how you thought it wasn't good and that it doesn't really set hemp free. It limits us to these low THC cultivars. You were saying do we want to discuss it? Sure, let's discuss it.
Well, that what you said is completely different than you said it 3 months ago to me.
Uh-huh. What did I say 3 months ago? I can't even remember.
Well, you said, this will be sold in liquor store.
Oh, that was the old version. That was more than 3 months, but yeah. Yeah, well, in industrial hemp, yeah, I think that...
Why?
There shouldn't be a limit on the THC level. It should be about which ones produce the best fiber and the best seed and the best protein.
In Canada, they only have 3%, 30% of 1%.
Yeah, 1/3 of 1%.
And they don't want any fiber because they don't produce any fiber of any...
Yeah, it makes much less fiber than higher THC strands.
It's 1% to 2% in China.
Yeah, and they produce a lot of fiber in China.
Oh, it's the best.
And a lot of seed as well, seed oil and protein.
And why they are doing it in Oregon for 3%, they don't even know what 30% of 1% is, and they're passing a law that nobody could do it if they talk to you or me or anybody else that knows about cannabis.
Well, that's why we tried to, in our bill, make sure that the strains of hemp that are grown under the bill that sets up industrial hemp would be the ones that are the most productive producers of fiber, oil, and protein. The THC level doesn't matter. What matters is how much fiber do they produce, how much oil do they produce, how much protein do they produce. And those should be the key factors if you're growing it for fiber, protein, and oil.
In
Canada, that's not what they're growing right now. They grow a strain that produces hardly any fiber and hardly any seed.
And all of Western Europe is
using those French cultivars that are patented by a specific French company. Anyway, I agree. Those aren't good. So what do you think, Russ? You've been pretty quiet, abnormally quiet over there tonight.
I just, standing back in awe of the people I get to sit with sometimes. It's just amazing to me. But I did want to make a mention to the caller who just called in a second ago. If you want to get more information about what's going on in the world of hemp and cannabis, medical marijuana, tune into the Daily Audio Stash. It's the podcast I produce for Normal. It's every day, Monday through Friday. You can get it at stash.normal.org. That's stash.normal.org. And every day we got an hour worth of interviews and news and music. And starting this Labor Day weekend on Saturday, September 5th, we'll be debuting Normal Show Live, which will be a 2-hour live talk radio program on Saturday nights, every Saturday night, 6 o'clock Pacific time. Tim Pate and I are getting involved with that, trying to get some...
And so that's going to be on CBS Radio?
Actually, that's the big change here. We went to CBS Radio. They actually, we went to them and said, we got this talk show we'd like to put on. And they said, oh, great, we'd love to have you on our online thing. And we said, okay, well, we're Normal. Yeah, that's no problem. We're about marijuana. Yeah, that's no problem. We're going to have advertisers that want to advertise about marijuana and marijuana smoking devices. Yeah, that's no problem. Okay, so we put out a press release. The press release hit. The suits up at the executive building, and CBS said, oh, what, marijuana? Oh, no, we can't have that. And they dropped it. So we scrambled. We found another outlet, which is called blogtalkradio.com. It's a much superior technology, a lot cheaper, too. So we'll be able to pass the savings on to you.
All right.
There you go.
Good to know. Good to know. We have another caller and about 3 minutes to go. Hello, caller. You're on the show.
Hi. I was just first I want to thank you all very much. I'm a person that lives in chronic pain, so marijuana is the only thing that really does help me substantially. I grow 2 little plants, and I grow them in pots in my backyard. And this year, the leaves are getting really, really yellow. And I'm wondering what I've done wrong, if it was the extreme heat.
It might be that the plants are too big for the small pots. It might be a lack of nitrogen. There's this book out there by George Cervantes called Marijuana the Marijuana Horticulture, Indoor and Outdoor Marijuana Growers Bible. That book will have a series of leaves. There's certain, are the yellowing leaves happening all over the plant, or just at the bottoms, or just at the top?
Some are just in the middle. They started at the bottom, and then I've got green now again at the bottom, and then they're a little bit yellow.
You know, I don't have a lot of time to go into it, but it sounds to me like it's pulling nitrogen from the lower parts of the plant and using it for growth in the upper part of the plant, which means they're taking the mobile nutrient nitrogen and taking it out of the leaf. So what I would recommend is maybe transplanting that into a larger pot. I like to flower in 25-gallon pots. I don't know how big the pots are you're growing in, but if you transplant it now, you'll have a lot more harvest come October. So I highly recommend transplanting to a 25-gallon container.
That's great. It's not too late in the season now to go ahead and do it.
Not at all. And then buy that book because it'll help you learn a lot.
It really will.
What was the name of the book again? I'm sorry.
It's Marijuana Horticulture by George Cervantes. We recommended it at our office.
Yeah, the
We're
Canna
down
Bible.
to just less than a minute left here, but thanks for your call. Glad we could help. Jack, is there anything you want to say to our audience in closing?
Well, we're going to do a marijuana initiative 100,000% legal. Nobody can go to jail, and everybody in jail for marijuana gets out of jail in California.
All right. What about you, Russ?
Everybody get out there, learn what you can learn. Get The Emperor Wears No Clothes. If you don't have any marijuana books at all, buy that one first.
That's the one you want.
Madeline?
Come to our Oregon Normal meeting tomorrow. We'll see you there.
See you next week. Well, next week we'll have a tape show. The week after that, show number 503 will be our next live show. Tune in next week and help us restore hemp. Here's Mr. Tim Pate.